Welcome back to Adrienne on. Let me share now with you that goosebump experience story. It happened a few years ago, and I was working with a lovely lady, and she was stuck in anxiety and a lot of pain over a memory that occurred to her when she was 15 years old. So I asked her to share the memory because this is where she was stuck. And what it was, she was 15 years old. She was in a kitchen, or her kitchen in her home, and her mum comes in and said to her, "It's your fault your brother died and I wish you were dead." Pretty harsh thing to hear, and she was experiencing that. She was a lot older, maybe in her 40s at this particular time when she was sharing the memory, but it was still holding her. And this is what happens when we have painful memories, and also when we have memories of lots of success. We're actually held back at that time. And the work that I do is unfolding and unpacking that so you can go forward. So I asked her to share a little bit more of her story in regards to what happened prior to her mum coming into the kitchen and saying, "It's your fault your brother died and I wish you were dead." And what had happened is 3 days prior to that, did I use 2 fingers? 3 days prior to that, her and her brother were getting off the bus, and her brother actually got knocked down by a car. The emergency services came and the brother was taken to hospital. And he had spent 3 days in the intensive care. Obviously the family with him the whole time, and then they had to turn off the machines, and he died that day. The family came home, and she's in the kitchen when her mum comes in and said, "It's your fault your brother died and I wish you were dead." So I asked her to just close her eyes and get back to that moment. See herself and picture herself in the kitchen. See herself, what she was doing at that particular time, and see her mum come in and say those words, "I wish you were dead and it's your fault your brother died." And I asked her just with her mind to open up, just widen her mind, and just open it as far as she could, and find the personal persons that she knows with absolute certainty would say it's not her fault that that her brother died, and she's not meant to die. She was very quiet as she was there with her eyes closed, and I waited, and then this tiny voice from her came and she said, "Could it be my brother?" I asked her to go in and think about her brother and see her mum doing what she was doing. And I asked her to tell me what were the sensations going on in her body. And she said, "Oh, it's funny you say that, but I feel a sensation on the right side." And I said, "Okay, can you go back into that memory? Your mum comes into the kitchen and says, 'It's your fault your brother died and I wish you were dead.'" I said, "So who's the person there that you believe with absolute certainty would say it's not your fault and you're not meant to die?" And she said, "It's my brother." So tears welled up in her eyes and tears welled up in my eyes at the same time. And I said, "Okay, can you see that?" She said, "Yes." I said, "Can you do me another favour? Can you go back into that particular memory? And I want you to look around that kitchen, and I want you to share with me and find with me where or what is around you at that particular time that reminds you of your brother." She did. She was very diligent. She closed her eyes and she's scanning and looking with her mind's eye. I could see that. And she said, "Oh, my brother's paintings are on the fridge." And I said, "Okay. So would you perceive that the brother's paintings that were there, right there in the room, in the kitchen, also represented of your brother, that your brother actually was there for you?" And she said, "Yes." I asked her to go back into the memory of her mum coming in. "It's your fault that your brother died and I wish you were dead." And I asked her to see all of that. And then I asked her to share with me if she had any anxieties, fears, discomfort in that, any sadness. And she said no, because she said her brother was there for her. So what happens in this particular moment is a truth was all of a sudden born in her, something that she had been struggling with for many, many years. When she had been told by people that her mum didn't really mean it. Her mum meant it. Her mum meant it in that moment. But what she didn't realise is that she was having somebody else who was there for her. And when that happened, her whole body shifted, her whole mind shifted, and whole life shifted because of that moment. That's one of the stories. I have many of these stories when I work with clients. So I just want you to think over the story, and you may have noticed as I was sharing it with you that the hairs on your arms, just like they are now, don't know if the camera will pick it up, but the hairs on your arm stands up, that you feel the shiver going through you. And that is when your autonomic nervous system, your parasympathetic and sympathetic, come into complete balance. That is the Goosies when you hear a truth. I'd love to share more truths with you, so stay tuned for Adrienne is on. Or if you want to know more about the work I do and actually share this and have this experience for yourself, which I love to do, then just private message me or contact me on Adrienne at adriennegulliver.com. Gulliver is in Gulliver's Travels, so it's an easy spell. Anyway, thank you. Stay tuned for more of these. I look forward to sharing more with you. Ka kite anō, which is thank you, and we will meet again. And this is Adrienne signing off.